as a small business owner or a startup owner, when should you think about registering your trademark or your brand name? My view is right at the very beginning. And the reason for this is if you are starting with a brand name that somebody already has registered as a trademark, you can find yourself in legal hot water right at the very beginning. And so it's important to make sure you're not infringing somebody else's name. And I went on an accelerator recently, business accelerator, and there was a participant there who had a great name, and I thought it was amazing, and I'd never heard of it before. But when he checked, he found out that somebody actually already had it registered. Now, it wasn't a big issue. He had been using it for about 8 months. He hadn't commercialized it. He hadn't made any money. So he then had to change his branding. But it was a pain because he'd already got domain names. He had already built a website. He'd already got videos created with his branding in it. So it was a bit of an issue. The sooner you can get a trademark locked in, the better. It helps you save money in the long run and know that you're not infringing somebody's trademark. So what's the big deal then if you infringe somebody's trademark? Some people say to me, I don't care. I'm not making any money. It's a small business. No one's ever going to hear of me. How would they ever find out? Well, with the internet, people do find out a lot more about us than we want them to know. And it's just not good to start a business on the with the thought that you don't know whether or not the name you're using is one that you can use. Now, your trademark is your superpower. It's a thing that gives you more power than any of the other name registrations. So domain name, business name, company name, they're not going to help you or protect you in a fight against somebody who's got a trademark registration. So a trademark is the thing that you need that gives you the brand protection. Having said that, I do also think that it's sensible because trademark costs a bit of money and it takes 7.5 months before you get the trademark certificate, although you can know, depending on which country you're filing it in, you can know within 3 or 4 weeks whether it's going to be likely to be accepted or going to be problematic. So you can know quite soon. But before you even do that, I always think it's a good idea to get your domain names registered as soon as you go and search for them. If you search for 3 or 4 that you like and you're not sure which one you're going to register as a trademark, register them as you search for them because you don't want it to be taken by the time you come back. And that in fact happened to my brother. He searched, domain name was available, thought about it, came back 20 minutes later, somebody already had registered the name that he wanted. So it's a good idea. Sort out domain names, get a business name registered, get a company name registered, but understand that that's sort of a holding thing, contingent on getting your trademark registered. Once you have your trademark filed and there don't appear to be any objections, then you know you're pretty much locked in. Unless something unusual happens. It's not a good idea to get your trademark locked in, spend the money, effort on that, and then you find out down the track that you can't, well, you get the trademark, so that's all good, but then you can't get the domain names or the business name that you wanted. And so that's the order of things that I would recommend. And I'd recommend that you do it right at the very beginning. Start planning it, first domain names, then company name and or business name, and trademark as soon as you've got those domain names locked in, because it's easy at the beginning to change the domain names, not so easy to change your, well, yeah, the thing that costs more is the trademark. So if the trademark's not available, that means you're infringing somebody else's mark, and that's when you have the problem. So domain names and business names are easier to get resolved, and then, yeah, get them bedded down and get your trademark application filed as soon as you can, because, as I said, it can take months or it can take years to get a trademark certificate. In Australia, it's pretty quick, 7.5 months. Other countries, it can be 2 or 3 years. So good luck with it. My name is Catherine Warburton, and I am the Legal Lioness.